worked in so-called film era, and you also, your latest work, some of them, done in digital. So, as a witness of both eras, what you say, what is, you think, main difference for a cinematographer between shoot digital and shoot on film, from your personal point of view?
The magic has gone out of it a little bit shooting digitally because it's all right there in front of you. You know, those nights you'd anxiously wait for your dailies report in the morning, and when it was all fine, you'd go, thank God for that, you know, I did this and I tried that. And digitally now it's all laid out in front of you. You know exactly what you've got. And quite often you've lit and framed by committee because there are so many people around the monitors now. Film, it used to be very special. It'd be the DP and the director, the operator, but with the films I shot in Australia, I was the operator as well. So it was me and the director. And at the end of a take, he could tell by the way I pulled my head away from the eyepiece whether it was good or bad. And I know Mel Gibson said this. He used to watch me before he'd watch the director in shooting the films I did with him. And I had to fire a guy once for operating he'd pull his head away and say, oh, shit, or and his reactions weren't, you know, the actor complained about him doing that. He'd come away from the viewfinder angry at something he had done or something he had seen. But I think operating is incredibly important, and it used to be me and a director. And then we'd have dailies the next afternoon or the next evening, and quite often at rushes it'd be a very special time. All departments would be there. You know, the wardrobe, the hair, the makeup, the producers, and they'd have, you know, maybe some beer and wine and some snacks. And it used to be like a really important, integral part of filmmaking. And you'd see the stuff and you know, generally you got away with it. And the next time when the film was cut, you'd sit with a timer, just you and the timer, and watch the movie and time it reel by reel. Then the director would come in and do his adjustments, and then it was ready for the world to see. Now it's like, on the set there are so many monitors, you know, good quality monitors that everybody is seeing exactly the way it's going to be, and all that magic is sort of taken away. Although it's brilliant, I love shooting digitally. I love playing with it, I love pushing it. I love, you know, quite often in a movie I'll just fiddle with for some reason I'll just fiddle with exposure. Oh, look at that, that's a night shot. Let's roll a bit of that. So you roll it, and that's a shot in the movie that wasn't meant to be. That's night instead of day. I've got away with shooting in low light level a hell of a lot. Shot at magic hour, not just beauty shots, but full dialogue scenes at magic hour where you might have 20 minutes, 25 minutes to shoot. I did it in Russia. And also some on, I think on Apocalypto. In fact, Apocalypto, we're in the jungle, and the jungle is dark. There's a canopy, there's no sky. It's a canopy, it's really dark. And if you have an overcast day, it's dark. If you get heavy overcast, it's dark. Late afternoon, when the sun's way behind the trees, it really gets dark. And I think using the Genesis camera, which I really put into orbit on that movie, using the shutter and using the gain, I got away with Blue Murder and got a lot of scenes completed that we wouldn't have completed had we been on film. In fact, I rang Don McAlpine, who had shot The Medicine Man in the same location, the same jungle. There were bits of gaffer tape on trees, and we'd lean against a tree. Oh, it's a fiberglass tree, that one. That's not a real one in the jungle. So Don had shot there. And I said, Macca, what did you do, you know, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when it got too dark and you couldn't shoot on film? Did you light it up? And he said, no, mate, we went to the pub. I like shooting digital. I loved the Genesis camera. I really did, because I was introduced to that initially, and I sort of pioneered it a bit here. I shot the first film in Hollywood on it.
Which one it was?
It was Click with Adam. Adam came and had a look at the tests they'd shot on the Genesis, and he liked it. So we shot, and I was happy to shoot in town because Panavision were there, and also eFilm were there, who'd given me the look-up table, so I had them to protect me. And by the time we got through the 12-week shoot or whatever Click was, me and my crew were totally familiar with it, although the transition was pretty easy. I must say it was pretty easy. It wasn't like you're doing another job all of a sudden. You're still lighting. And I think the design of the camera was such that it was like you were still shooting film. In fact, we had people come to the studio who didn't know we weren't shooting film. The camera looked like a film camera. And by the time we got to Apocalypto, we were flying with it, doing some pretty amazing things.
So what do you think, maybe, can we say just, you think use of digital cameras change of nature of creative work of cinematographer because it's lost kind of magic, it lost kind of very uniqueness of the work?
Yeah, I remember Johnny Seal. I saw Johnny when I was shooting Click, when I was first shooting on the Genesis, and I remember John saying to me, "Mate, this is the beginning of the end of the cinematographer." And I didn't believe him then. I thought, I don't think so. But I think he was right in a certain way, in that now, you know, I've had actors come up to me in the tent and say, "Oh, can you put a bit more light on this thing here?" Or what about the color? You know, so it's like...
So based
yes,
on
you're lighting
image
by committee.
on monitor, right? They look at the monitor and give you advice?
Yeah, but you're looking, you know, you're lighting by committee sometimes. I mean, I've been left alone pretty well. I can't be unfair about it. But it is very different. It is very different now. It's not the end of the cinematographer, it's just a different cinematographer.